Here's some background context before I, 20, go further. My father, 48, was never present in my early life, as he and my mother divorced when I was very young. Andy moved 6 hours away for work, but eventually we rekindled and were on good terms in my mid-teens. Once I graduated, my father asked if I'd like to come and live with him, my stepmother, 28, and my older sister, 24, to make up for the fact that I never really had the chance to see him growing up. I was hesitant, as I landed a very high-paying job straight out of school. I was also planning on moving in with a few friends. My older sister had been living with them since she was 19 and said she'd like to have me around. So I caved, and just after my 19th birthday, I quit my job, canceled my plans to move away with my friends, and packed all my stuff into my car. To be honest, it was great living with him, but I struggled to settle into the new town, making friends, getting a job, etc. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago and I found a job, made some friends, and I'm dirt poor because I've spent all my money on a trip to Spain with said friends. 4 days before I left, my sister suddenly moved out as one of her friend's roommates moved away, so she quickly moved in with her friend in the space of a few days. All good. I went on my trip for 2 weeks and came back 3 days ago as of writing this post. The first day I was back, my father and stepmother were very nice and welcoming, picking me up from the airport, asking how it all went, and wanting to see pictures. But after having dinner, they said they wanted to talk to me about something serious. They sat me down and explained that while they really liked having me around, they loved having their own space and house to themselves more and wanted me out in 3 weeks. They said they'd help me move my stuff and that I'd always be allowed to stop by. I was shocked and very hurt. I brought up that they wanted me to move in with them and that my older sister had been living with them for the last 4 to 5 years. We went back and forth for about an hour, arguing until I reached a boiling point. I just started shouting and told them how hurt I was, how it was BS that I moved away from home and lost a great job and opportunity just for this. My stepmother said that I was too old to live with them anyways, and that I was acting like a leech. I pay them rent and buy my own food, so I told her that was ironic coming from a gold digger. After that, they told me to pack my things and leave, and that I wasn't welcome back, which I did. I'm now staying with my sister until I can find somewhere to stay. They haven't talked to me since, and my sister agrees that it was a messed up thing for them to do. I get you eventually have to move out of home, but inviting me to live with you when I'm doing well and then kicking me out when I'm broke feels like such a betrayal to me. So am I the idiot for how I reacted? Edit. Sorry I wasn't clear. I've lived with them for a year. They didn't kick me out as soon as I moved in. Also, I didn't just only find a job 2 weeks ago. I struggled to find a job for the first 3 months, but have been working part-time since. I hope that clears things up. So they wanted you to come and live with them, so you quit your job to do so, and then they told you that they actually don't want you to live there when you got there? That's super messed up. If they can't see that, there's some really huge cognitive dissonance in their heads. You are not the idiot. You quit your job and uprooted your life at their request. Giving you 3 weeks to get out is insane. I don't know what game they're playing, but they got you to give up your job and uproot your life to live with them. And then once you're settled and lost that prospect and are broke from a trip, then they demand you leave? It sounds like they're intentionally screwing you over. I don't know what they're playing at, but once you get out of there and get everything they screwed up back on track, that's the last time I'd ever talk to them. What crappy people. And you're only 8 years younger than your stepmom? I know what's going on. Stepmom wants a kid of her own and wants the house empty to create a fairy tale. Probably she's already pregnant. That's why OP's sister suddenly moves out after telling him she wanted him around, and they give him 3 weeks to get out. Dude, you're kind to call someone that's only 8 years older than you your stepmom. I'd call her my dad's other kid, my dad's concubine, child bride, or anything. I think this may be the plan. OP, they're terrible people. Can you get the old job offer rekindled? It won't hurt to try. If not, find another job, preferably where you lived with your mom. See if you can move back home. and save money so that you always have contingency money. Good luck. Update. Thanks, everyone. I doubt I could get the same job as the global issue was what really opened that opportunity. I suppose I've just wanted to have my dad more involved in my life. Thought it would be nice to get to know him properly, finally. I've always had the idea of family over money instilled in my mind. I suppose pregnancy is always possible, but I've never heard them say that they want to have kids together. But if I hear my stepmother's pregnant in the next year, that would pretty much confirm it. My older brother is getting married in 3 months. Last minute thing. I'm very happy for him. My twin sister had just had her first baby, and as such is breastfeeding. Baby will still be 100% breastfed if all goes to plan by the time the wedding happens. My brother and soon-to-be wife don't want any kids under 10 at the wedding, but the bride's sister's infant is allowed to attend. We assumed my sister would be allowed too, so we didn't really question it. The babies are the same age. Last week, my brother corrected us and said our nephew wasn't invited. He didn't specify past that for a bit. Still, he later revealed that it's because they don't want her breastfeeding and attracting attention. My sister doesn't think she can attend, so he said that was fine. They wouldn't account for her. She got really upset, later blamed it on hormones, but she's always looked up to him, so I think it meant more to her than she's saying. So basically, she's no longer invited to the wedding. I later informed my brother that he could take me off the invited list too, because I wouldn't be attending without my sister and nephew. Word got out among our family, and our 2 younger siblings have also decided they aren't going now. It's created a situation, as you can imagine. Our brother's angry as all heck. He's calling me and telling me I've ruined his big day, begged me to speak to the younger 2, asked me to attend, etc. I've always been firm in my no. Our parents have stepped in and are doing the whole, you need to support your brother, blah blah. No one, aside from the 3 siblings who also aren't attending, is on my side. I thought it was because my brother's just the favorite, oldest, golden child, but now I'm wondering if I was seriously out of line. Am I the idiot? Was I a royal idiot? Or was it deserved? Not the idiot. It's not fair her sister's baby is welcome and your sister's baby isn't. And does your brother really think she'll be nursing at the dinner table? Most moms don't even want to nurse in public. I imagine the accommodation will be more than happy to find her a quiet room to nurse her baby. And they invited soon-to-be sister-in-law with a baby anyway, so it's not like they don't already have to take care of those accommodations. There's literally no extra work with inviting OP's sister. They're willing to make an exception for the bride's sister, but not the groom's. Hope the baby from the bride's family spits up on the bride and groom. They're willing to make an exception for the bride's sister, probably because the bride's sister doesn't breastfeed, so the bride won't have to worry that her boobs will be the center of attention. There are 100 ways to nurse in public without putting your boobs on the table, from using a nursing cover or a light scarf to wearing a nursing dress specifically designed to nurse in public without exposing yourself to going to a different room. Calling the behavior of the bride and groom out is absolutely right. My boyfriend and I, both in our 30s, have been together for almost 2 years. Each makes decent money. He makes almost twice my income, and we plan to marry and have kids in a year. Less than a year into dating, I agreed to move into his house, which he owned for several years. Before officially moving in, all he requested of me was to pay 40% of the monthly mortgage and utility payment and to take turns buying groceries. I gladly agreed and have consistently done that. I've also been paying for everyday necessities, such as toilet paper, soap, paper towels, etc., and we use my car 95% of the time because he's pointed out that my car is more gas efficient. I always pay for gas too. I estimate these extra monthly costs to be around $400 to $500 and never complain. Since the beginning of our relationship, he shared his home renovation plans, starting with the bathrooms, which he estimates to cost at least $10K. I like the idea because the improvements would be nice to have. floor-to-ceiling marble glass shower doors, new windows to add natural light. There are currently no issues with the bathrooms, but he insists we get it done before we have kids and would like me to contribute. I've always been upfront about my hesitation to contribute large amounts to a home I don't own because we aren't married yet, and I'm not even on the deed. I also don't want to be like his ex, who contributed to similar expenses, and obviously that didn't work out. I told him it would comfort me to know I contributed large amounts to something I also own, and shared my insecurity about ending up like his ex, which he thinks is ridiculous because nothing is guaranteed anyway. We could marry and divorce. He recently had other improvements made to the house, which cost over $10K. I didn't help pay or request these things, but I've made previous comments about how these upgrades would be nice to have eventually. Lately, it seems that my boyfriend's been building resentment towards me for not contributing more because he's commented that my monthly mortgage contribution doesn't help a lot, and he feels like he'll always be alone in this. I've told him I have no issues contributing more once I'm on the deed. Girl, your boyfriend wants to take advantage of you. The fact that he blows off you paying 40% of his mortgage, despite him earning twice as much, is concerning. Tell him you legally are just a renter, and renters do not pay for home remodeling projects a landlord wants. And now you know why his ex is an ex, and why you should be one too. He's all take and no give. LOL, he can put you on the deed if he doesn't want to feel alone owning a home. He increased his home value with those improvements, so he put that money in his future him's pocket, where he spent it on the house. You should only be expected to contribute to improving the value of his home if you're benefiting from shared ownership or sharing the increase in value. Exactly. Protect yourself. Where I live, all the money expert people warn women about falling into this trap, like his ex did. It is reasonable to share expenses, but if you're paying toward the mortgage, you should get equity in the house, formally and in a contract. So I, 29 male, started a new job about 3 months ago. It's been super nice, and I love my work. The only issue has been between a coworker, mid-20s, female Jenny, and me. She was not shy in letting me know that she was interested in me. I am, however, married, so I did my best to shut it down and told her that I was very happy in my relationship and that I wasn't interested in her. However, some of her friends have started referring to her as my work wife and me as her work husband. I've expressed my discomfort with this and have stopped responding when they say it. A little while back, my coworkers and I went to a bar, and throughout the night, her friends kept trying to get us to hook up. At one point, Jenny told me that my wife didn't have to know. I was done at that point. I went home, talked to my wife. She was very understandably hurt I didn't tell her about this sooner, but I didn't want to upset her, dumb reason, and I came to the conclusion that I needed to go to HR. I told HR about the incident and told them I felt uncomfortable working with her in the future and that my other coworkers were encouraging it. I also gave them some relevant correspondence I've had with her. HR found more evidence of misconduct throughout the investigation and fired her for harassment. I didn't expect that and just wanted her to be transferred or something. Now my coworkers are giving me the cold shoulder and walking on eggshells around me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You did the right thing by reporting the inappropriate behavior to HR. You made it clear to your coworker that you were not interested, and she continued to pursue you and make inappropriate comments. Understandably, you would feel uncomfortable working with her in the future. HR investigated and found evidence of misconduct, ultimately leading to her termination. It's not your fault that she behaved inappropriately and violated company policies. Your coworkers may be upset because they were friends with her. Still, they should understand that her behavior was unacceptable in the workplace. What if the roles were reversed and it was a mom telling a woman at her place of work that her husband doesn't have to know? That's not okay. So it's not okay for a woman to do either. Were her coworkers disciplined? Because they should have been. Not fired necessarily, but at least a formal warning. Please don't feel guilty. They're all as bad as each other. They treat the world like their soap opera playground. And I can't stop thinking, if she'd gotten angry from being turned down, she might have ended up going to HR herself as revenge, telling them who knows what about OP. He's been coming on to me since he started working here. Ask anyone. They call me his work wife all the time because of the way he acts with me. She is more than capable of understanding that what she was doing was inappropriate. I'm sorry your coworkers enabled her behavior and gave you the cold shoulder. My husband's sister, 38, lives with us and our kids. I'm well beyond fed up with her being here because of food issues. That's the only reason. So basically, every single time I make food, his sister will come and doctor up the food I'm making to her liking. Like I made a steak and shrimp the other day, like Applebee's, and she waited until I left the room and put a full stick of butter in my shrimp that was already done. And when I came back in, she goes, "I'm pretty sure that's the taste you were looking for," and completely ruined it. It was trash. Or whenever I make spaghetti, she'll start dumping sugar into the sauce, to the point of sweet spaghetti that my kids and I outright refuse to touch because it's nasty. She puts 2 full cups of sugar into the sauce. Every time she can get away with it, she's doing something to the food. Anyways, my husband has started doing the same thing. I went to make homemade mac last night and cheeseburgers. I went to the basement to the chest freezer to grab the veggies I needed. When I came back upstairs, my husband was putting the canned chicken into the mac and cheese. He knows the kids hate the taste of that, and his sister had pushed blocks of blue cheese into the partially cooked burgers. I asked what the heck they thought they were doing, because I've told them so many times to stop messing with the food, and neither of them had any good excuse other than, we were just helping. I flipped out and told them to get the heck out of my kitchen. Both of them told me I was overreacting, etc., etc. The thing is, I've openly asked my sister-in-law to cook several times, and she won't, but she won't stop messing with the food I'm making. My husband cooks often, and I don't care if he screws with the food he makes, but it royally makes me angry when my cooking's messed up, and he knows that. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Who puts 2 cups of sugar in pasta? 2 cups? Dude, you only add like a pinch. This is insane. She sounds unhinged. And why is your husband enabling her and actively participating? They both suck. She needs to go ASAP, and you and he need a long talk. Tell them that if they hate the food so much, they need to cook for themselves and stop cooking for these people, especially considering they're just making your job harder by making your food inedible for your kids. Your sister-in-law has overstayed her welcome. My mom has a rule. You are now in charge of the whole meal if you touch the food she's cooking, even just to lift a lid to see what it is. She'll tell you that you're now in charge and will not return to the kitchen until the food is ready. This is how she dealt with people messing with her cooking. Honestly, have your sister-in-law move out. Done. Husband too. Done. Is this some kind of weird power play by sister-in-law? Exerting dominance over you because she's your husband's sister? And your husband just going along with that crap? Your husband is as much of the problem as his sister. I'm in a rage just reading this.